Before the golden mask, before the towering statues, before the name that echoed through millennia, there was a child born not into a family, but into a dynasty. A child whose first breaths were scented with incense and power, and whose first lullabies were hymns to the gods he would one day claim as kin. This is the story of a transformation so profound it defies modern understanding. It is the journey from a vulnerable, mortal boy into the living embodiment of a god on earth. This is the path from royal child to Pharaoh. Imagine a world bathed in the relentless Egyptian sun, a world where life and death are dictated by the rhythm of a single river. In the heart of this world lies a palace, a sprawling city within a city, made of sun-baked mud brick and adorned with vibrant frescoes. Its corridors are a maze of political whispers and silent, watchful servants. Here, in the royal nursery, our journey begins. For the young prince, this is no ordinary childhood. It is a gilded cage, a meticulously crafted environment designed for a single purpose: to forge a king. His playmates are not the children of merchants or farmers. They are the sons of high-ranking officials and viziers, each one a potential future ally or rival. Every game of Senate is a lesson in strategy. Every story told by his nurse is a chapter from the mythological history of his divine ancestors. From the moment he can walk and talk, his education is relentless. Forget learning the simple alphabet. He must master the intricate art of the hieroglyphs, the sacred script known as the words of the gods. Each symbol is not just a letter or a word, but a vessel of cosmic power. To write was to command reality itself. His tutors are not kindly schoolmasters, but stern priests and weathered generals. They drill him in mathematics, not for its own sake, but to calculate the logistics of feeding an army, or the precise angles needed to build a temple that will align with the stars. He studies geography, not to marvel at the world, but to know the sources of gold in Nubia and the trade routes of the Levant that will fill his kingdom's treasury. But his most important subject is theology. This is the bedrock of his entire existence. Day after day, he is steeped in the epic tales of Ra, Osiris, Isis, and Horus. He learns that the universe is a delicate balance between order, or Ma'at, and chaos, or Isfet. And he is taught with absolute conviction that he is the linchpin holding it all together. He is not merely the gods' chosen representative, he is their physical manifestation on earth. He is the living Horus, son of Osiris, destined to rule. This isn't just a political title, it is a cosmological fact, an identity drilled into his soul until the line between the boy and the god begins to blur. The pressure is immense. A single misstep, a moment of doubt, could be interpreted as a crack in the divine order, a weakness for his enemies to exploit. While his mind is being shaped, his body is being hardened. The Nile Valley is a fertile paradise, but it is surrounded by harsh deserts and ambitious empires. A pharaoh cannot be a mere scholar, he must be a warrior. The young prince is taken from the cool, shaded halls of the palace and thrust into the blistering heat of the training grounds. He learns to handle a bow with deadly accuracy, firing arrows from the back of a speeding chariot until his arms ache and his fingers bleed. He masters the spear, the battle axe, and the khopesh, the sickle-shaped sword that is the signature weapon of Egyptian warfare. He spars with the toughest soldiers in the royal guard, learning to read an opponent's movements and exploit their weaknesses. This is more than physical conditioning, it is a performance. The prince must be seen to excel. His strength and skill are public declarations of his divine favor. When he leads a royal hunt into the desert, stalking lions and wild bulls, he is not just a sportsman. He is reenacting the mythological triumphs of his divine ancestors, proving his mastery over the forces of chaos. Every successful hunt is a story that spreads through the kingdom, whispered by soldiers and carved into temple walls, reinforcing the image of a vigorous and powerful heir, ready to seize the reins of power. He is learning to embody the ideal of the warrior king, a figure as comfortable in a war chariot as he is on a golden throne. Beyond the battlefield and the classroom, he must navigate the most dangerous territory of all, the royal court. The palace is a serpent's nest of ambition. While he is the chosen heir, he is rarely the only son. He has brothers, half-brothers, and powerful uncles, each with their own supporters and their own silent claims to the throne. He learns to speak in careful, measured tones, to mask his intentions, and to read the subtle shifts in loyalty and allegiance in the eyes of the courtiers around him. He sits in on his father's audiences, watching silently as the pharaoh dispenses justice, negotiates with foreign ambassadors, and listens to the reports of his viziers. He learns the delicate dance of diplomacy, understanding that a well-chosen gift to a Hittite king can be more effective than 1,000 chariots. He learns the brutal calculus of power, realizing that a seemingly loyal general could be plotting a coup, and that the high priest of Amun-Ra holds a spiritual authority that could rival his own. This is a shadowy education in human nature, a curriculum of paranoia and statecraft. He must learn who to trust, who to fear, and who to eliminate. It is a brutal but necessary preparation, for the stability of the entire kingdom rests on his ability to not only win the throne, but to hold it against all challengers. The boy who once played with toys is now playing with the lives of men and the fates of nations. As the prince enters manhood, his role begins to shift from passive student to active participant. Often, an aging pharaoh would elevate his chosen son to the position of co-regent, a junior king who would rule alongside him. This was the final, most critical phase of the apprenticeship. It was a test, conducted on the grandest stage imaginable. The prince is now given real responsibilities. He might be tasked with overseeing the construction of a new temple, a massive undertaking requiring the mobilization of thousands of workers and vast resources. He might be sent to lead a military campaign on the borders of the empire, a chance to prove his leadership and win the loyalty of the army. This period of co-regency is a delicate balancing act. The prince must demonstrate his competence and authority without ever appearing to overshadow his father. He must command respect, but never demand it in a way that challenges the senior king. Every decision is scrutinized, every success and failure noted by the court. It is during this time that he truly builds his own power base, forging alliances with generals, priests, and administrators who will support him when the time comes. He is no longer just a potential king, he is a king in waiting, and the entire nation is watching. The air in the palace grows thick with anticipation. The health of the old pharaoh is the most guarded secret and the most rampant rumor in the kingdom. Every cough, every stumble sends ripples of anxiety and opportunity through the court. Then the inevitable happens. The living god dies. The great Horus returns to the heavens to merge with his father Osiris in the afterlife. For the kingdom, this is a moment of profound cosmic danger. The link between the human and divine realms has been severed. Ma'at, the universal order, is weakened. Chaos licks at the edges of the world. For the prince, this is the moment of ultimate trial. In the midst of his own personal grief, he must project an aura of absolute strength and control. Any sign of hesitation, any hint of weakness, could be the spark that ignites a succession crisis. Brothers may make their move. Ambitious officials might see their chance. The transition must be swift, seamless, and absolute. A period of ritual mourning descends upon the land. The old king's body begins the sacred 70-day process of mummification, a complex, secret rite designed to transform his mortal flesh into an eternal divine vessel. But while the embalmers work in secret, the prince works in public. He takes charge, overseeing the preparations for the royal funeral, a spectacle of unimaginable wealth and religious significance. He performs the crucial rituals, demonstrating to the priesthood and the people that he understands the sacred duties and is ready to assume them. He is the new Horus, the protector of the land, and his first duty is to ensure the safe passage of his father, the new Osiris, into the underworld. It is a somber, terrifying, and exhilarating time. The weight of two worlds, the world of the living and the world of the dead, now rests squarely upon his shoulders. The day of the coronation dawns. This is not a political ceremony, it is a magical transformation. It is the moment the man dies and the god is born. The prince is led to a sacred lake where he is ritually purified with water by priests wearing the masks of Horus and Thoth. His old life, his identity as a mere prince, is washed away. He is then dressed in a simple white kilt, a symbol of rebirth, and led in a grand procession towards the temple. The streets are lined with the entire population of the capital, a sea of faces looking on in awe and reverence. The air is thick with the chanting of priests, the sound of trumpets, and the scent of copious amounts of burning incense. Inside the sanctuary, away from the public eye, the most sacred rites take place. He is anointed with precious oils, his body consecrated as a vessel for the divine spirit. The high priest presents him with the regalia of kingship.
Each object a powerful symbol of his new authority. He is given the crook, a shepherd's staff, to represent his role as the protector of his people. He is given the flail, a symbol of his power to dispense justice and punish his enemies. He is presented with a series of elaborate crowns, but the final, most potent one is the pashent, the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt. It is a heavy, cumbersome object, forged of gold and adorned with symbols of divine protection. One side features the vulture goddess Nekbet, representing the south. The other, the cobra goddess Wajet, representing the north. The moment this crown is lowered onto his head is the climax of the entire journey. It is the instant of metamorphosis. In the eyes of his people, and in his own mind, he ceases to be the son of the old king. He is now something more. He is the incarnation of the falcon god Horus, the rightful heir of Osiris, the living link between humanity and the cosmos. He takes on a new set of royal names, a throne name that defines the character of his reign, proclaiming him as beloved of Ra, or strong bull of Ma'at. The man who entered the temple is gone forever. In his place stands a Pharaoh, a divine being whose word is law and whose gaze holds the power of life and death. He emerges from the temple not as he went in, but as a living icon. He is now adorned in the full, breathtaking splendor of his office. The pleated kilt of fine linen, the intricate beaded collar of gold and lapis lazuli, the false beard strapped to his chin, a symbol of divinity and timelessness. His face, once familiar to the court, now seems remote, transformed by the gravity of his new identity. He ascends the throne, and his first act as king is to make offerings to the gods, not as a supplicant, but as an equal, a fellow member of the divine pantheon. He promises to uphold Ma'at, to protect Egypt from its enemies, to feed his people, and to honor the gods with temples and festivals. The journey is complete, but the work has just begun. He is now the chief executive, the supreme commander of the army, the high priest of every cult, and the ultimate judge of the land. He must lead armies into battle, his chariot at the very front, a living symbol of Egypt's might. He must commission the building of monuments on a scale that beggars belief, temples with forests of colossal columns, and a tomb designed to guarantee his own successful journey into the afterlife, and, by extension, the continued prosperity of his kingdom. He must perform the daily rituals that keep the sun rising, the Nile flooding, and the harvests bountiful. From the vulnerable child in the royal nursery to the remote golden figure on the throne, the transformation is absolute. It was a journey through a crucible of intense education, brutal physical training, and treacherous political maneuvering. It was a process designed to systematically strip away the mortal and replace it with the divine, to convince one man that he was the center of the universe, and to make an entire civilization believe it along with him. The boy is a memory. The prince is a historical title. All that remains is the Pharaoh, a figure of immense power and crushing responsibility, a god trapped in the body of a man, destined to carry the weight of a crown until he, too, joined his ancestors among the eternal stars.